Meeting of the Greater Lafourche Port Commission will now come to order. Oh, let's see. Mr. Zach, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Zach.
All right. Next, Mr. Colley, would you please give us roll call?
Yes, sir. Excuse me. Seat A, Chucky Sheremy.
Here.
Seat B, Tom Peake.
Here.
Seat C, Jimmy Lafont, absent. Seat D, Rodney Disclair.
Here.
Seat E, Reggie Leday.
Here.
Seat F, Larry Griffin.
Here.
Seat G, John Mellison.
Here.
Seat H, Mike Calais here. Seat I, Chris Calais.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Colley. Next, we have approved minutes for May 8, 2024 and May 22nd, 2024 meeting. I need a motion. Moved by Mr. John Nelson, second by Mr. Larry Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have Executive Director's Report. Mr. Chasson.
Thank you, Mr. President. First is our Northern Expansion projects, Northern Expansion Slip D Bulkhead, GIS Engineering. John.
Good morning. John Plaisance with GIS Engineering. We opened bids on this project on May 23rd. Low responsible bidder was Dynamic Group, 14,957 for the base bid. Base bid bills alternate number 1, 16.51 million. It's on your agenda later on to award that bid.
Have any questions? Thank you, John. All right, airport projects. First is aircraft operations. Davey Brew.
Operations for last month were 1,847. We had 12,484 passengers and 18,789 vehicles visit the airport.
All right. Any questions, Davey? All right, the Airport Connector Road and Bridge, PCOLA and Associates.
Yes, sea-level construction is the contractor. They are on site pouring concrete on the bridge approaches on both sides. They're also getting ready to pour the concrete for the 2 counterweights on each side. And this week, they're currently dredging in Bayou Lafourche and hauling off the material. They're also off-site working on machinery. They're kind of wrapping that up, so hopefully it'll come all together and we'll have a lift span sometime this summer.
And we did get approval from the Coast Guard for some Bayou Lafourche closures,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, so we're closing the bayou for the next couple of days from 7 a.m. to noon and from 1:30 in the afternoon to like 7 at night.
And we had sent that out to the public.
Yeah, I saw they were digging out with the mud.
Yep.
Yes.
That's was shallow there, or?
Well, we have to make sure the channel is correct.
Okay.
Underneath the length for the bridge. We
Right.
also have to put some conduits on the bottom to connect both sides for electrical and whatnot. So
Okay.
that kind of
looked,
stuff.
it looked like they were making great time
They are. They're doing well.
in that process.
Yep. So hopefully by the end of this week, we won't have any more bayou closures, at least for a little while. Eventually, we'll have more, but we'll notify everybody.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay, the Pappy LED upgrade, GIS Engineering.
Okay, this project is slowly coming to a close. The FAA is coming to a flight check on it on June 21st. If that passes, then we'll be able to close this project.
All right, any questions? Okay, the FBO terminal.
The terminal building, y'all awarded that bid to Byron Talbot Construction last month. The construction paperwork's being done. I think Chet signed it yesterday, as a matter of fact. So we'll be moving with that construction in the next month or so.
All right, any questions? Thank you, John. Moving on to other projects, the Leeville LA1 construction canal dredging and mitigation, Angelette Design.
So this project is complete. It was done by Coastal Dredging. They have mobilized off-site now. We're currently in the clear lien period. That should be up for consideration at next month's meeting.
All right. Any questions? All right, Hurricane Ida repair projects, the breakwaters repairs.
Okay, we received 2 bids yesterday morning on this project. Both of them under budget. We were budgeting about 9.7 million. This is to recap the 12 existing breakwaters off of Fourchon Beach, plus an alternate bid to do some repairs on the west jetty. The total base bid plus alternate of the low bid was $7,786,469. We are recommending awarding that. That was about $2 million under budget. The contractors, Rigid Constructors, I spoke to them this morning, let them know this was probably going to be awarded to them today. They're good with their bid, ready to move in. This is the contractor that's doing the work right now on the jetty repairs.
That's what I was going to say. Thank you, Neil.
Yeah.
And we kind of hit it right where a contractor was already out there doing work, was able to bid on the project.
And I think that was a big part of it coming in under budget.
Yep.
Great.
Oh, good.
All right. Any questions? All right, the Fourchon Beach project.
Okay, this project is going to begin advertising in a couple of weeks.
All right. Any questions on that? Thank you, Neil.
All right, thank you.
A flotation canal and front commercial marina dredge, PCL and Associates.
Yeah, Coastal Dredging is a contractor. They just completed the dredging work at the mouth of Flotation Canal and intersection of Bayou Lafourche. So they're demobbing from that site and then going to continue dredging further up on Flotation Canal towards Slip C and Slip D. And they do plan on hiring a subcontractor to work in the front marina. He hasn't started yet. He should be starting in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Any questions? All right, the airport hangar replacement project.
We are currently advertising for that project. The receipt of bids is scheduled for June 18th.
June 18th, all right. Any questions on that? All right. And on our FEMA projects, we are receiving funds back, reimbursements back from FEMA periodically on the projects. And just this morning, we were notified that we were getting $2 million back for reimbursement for the repairs of the wharves in Fourchon. So periodically, we are getting those funds back. Just wanted to give you all an update on that.
Good news.
Okay. That concludes the executive director's report. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chasson. Next, we have presentation from Louisiana Cajun Bayou.
And we have Cody, Ian, and Monique here. Thank y'all for being here.
Good morning. My name is Cody Gray, President and CEO of Louisiana's Cajun Bayou Tourism, the Tourist Commission for Lafourche Parish. Joining me here today, as Chet just mentioned, is our board chair, Ms. Monique Crochet, and our sales and marketing manager, Mr. Ian Wallace. And we appreciate you inviting us here and to be with you today. On behalf of our board of directors and our organization, it is my pleasure to present the Spirit of the Bayou Award, which is a distinct honor and a special honor that is only given to a recipient organization that passionately represents Lafourche Parish and wholeheartedly embraces the spirit of the Bayou. This year's recipient has been a longtime partner of our organization and continually works with us to promote the importance of our waterways, our coastline, and our ecosystem. And while you may not think Port Fourchon as a tourism attraction, the port and all of you have worked with us hand in hand to change the perception of how visitors view energy production while providing ways to experience our outdoors. Through the creation of the Coastal Wetlands Park, the Fourchon Viewfinders, the new Fourchon Pavilion, and even kayak rentals that y'all just added at the park, the Greater Lafourche Port Commission is building visitor attractions that truly highlight our most precious resources and educate the public on our important waterways. The Commission and staff are always ready when called upon and give back constantly to our region, our parish, and our communities. You stand tall as a shining example of an industry leader, a community partner, and an ambassador of Louisiana's Cajun Bayou, Lafourche Parish. There is no question that your organization embodies the spirit of the Bayou, and we cannot express our gratitude enough for your continued partnership and all that each of you do. The 2023 Spirit of the Bayou Award is thereby proudly presented to the Greater Lafourche Port Commission. And so I know Mr. Thad Angelos was at our event, which we held during National Travel and Tourism Week in May, where we officially gave out this award, but we are very excited to present this to the Greater Lafourche Port Commission, and again, sincerely appreciate your promotion of tourism and your work with our organization. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. $1,000. You accepted it the other day, get it again.
At least. Come on, Chuck.
No, I'm good. That's Ty's, he did it. Let him do it.
What that means, Thad, come to the front.
Come to the front, Ty. That's what that means. You accepted the other day, your work. Come to the front, Ty.
There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. We appreciate it.
Photographer Royce.
Thank y'all.
Good job.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Good job.
Now we know what you do for a living, Angelos. Mr. Bro.
Yes, on the public comment, I just want to mention that yesterday, on the construction and development, yesterday we had Andy Vallejos and Noemi, and they're from the Louisiana, New Mexico region for aviation, federal aviation. They're I guess the people that we're getting $1.5 million from for a new terminal building, but they were down actually visiting the airport. And I wanted to let y'all know that they were down here looking at what we have and appreciate what we've been doing in the aviation industry.
All right. Thank you.
If okay, Mr. President, I'd like to comment back on
Go ahead.
the award and just tell Cody and Ian and Monique and the entire board of, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou, thank you for this award. It's good whenever people can see and witness our passion, because we do have it, from our staff to our commission to our entire community. So we appreciate y'all recognizing that and working with you guys and continuing to do that, right? The Coastal Wetlands Park is just starting, and hopefully we are. We're going to continue to grow it and really piece those parts together of how industry, the environment, our community, we can all enjoy everything all together. So we appreciate it. Thank you.
And Mr. Angelos, we appreciate you too for the hard work. But it wouldn't be us if we didn't give you a hard time.
Yeah.
You did a great job. Thank you so
You
much.
did a real good job. Thank you. You won't get that again, but thank you.
One time a year.
One time a year you get a tag. All right. Anything else in the presentation? Thank you all very much for coming for the award. Okay, next we're going to public comment. All right.
If I could mention as well, Mr. President, I just wanted to mention before we move on to our reports that we do have Mr. Fred Trowbridge with Leader Scalise's office here. Thank you for being here. And Doug Sheremy from Governor Landry's office. Thanks, Doug, for being here.
All right. Next we're going into committee reports. Members are Executive Committee. Members are Chucky Sherman, Chairman, Rodney J. Jusclair Sr., Larry Griffin, and Jimmy LaFont. First, we have consider approving the request from Lafourche Parish District Number 3.
All right, Lafourche Parish Fire District Number 3 has requested for a second year for the operational costs of the Fouchon Fire Station. They requested for the $411,590.40 to cover fiscal year June 2024 to July, it's really July 2024 to June 2025. As y'all are very well aware, your term ends at the end of this year. So the recommendation is to commit to half. And then, after the election, the next board would then consider the other half. All right. So it would be $205,795.20.
All right. Need a motion? Moved by Reggie Ledier, second by John Mellison. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving the intergovernmental agreement with CPRA for the Port Fouchon Island long-term resiliency analysis.
All right. So this agreement basically covers a preliminary report for resiliency for the modeling, surveying, and up to 30% design for the breakwaters that would go about 5.5 miles from the east jetty east toward for 5.5 miles or so. Recommendation to approve.
Right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Mike Collins, second by Mr. Thomas Petrie. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving marketing agreements with Bayou Civic Club, Cutoff Youth Center, and the town of Golden Meadow.
All right, this is, I believe, the third of its kind that we've done. The last couple of years, we've been giving to those three entities $5,000 each, and they get to use that for what they need to use it for, and then we're allowed to put up signs and market the port. Recommendation to approve.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Rodney Gisclair, second by Mr. Thomas Pete. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Now, we're getting out of executive committee, going into permits and waterway committee. Members are Rodney Gisclair, chairman, Reggie Ledet, Tom Pete, and Chucky Sherman. Mr. Gisclair, your turn.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll review the permits, waterways permits. First, we have the Greater Lafourche Port Commission project includes these activities include bulkhead and associated dredging along a project of the west side of Slip C, dredging of a portion of Flotation Canal, approximately 6,640 feet of embankment protection and integrated fish dips.
Okay, I wanted to comment on that we didn't comment
Okay.
on Monday night. This is really just leftover things that we haven't, items we haven't completed yet for our Slip C development. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Next, we have from the Corps of Engineers. It's for Port Fourchon Belt Pass Deepening Draft Environmental Assessment.
All right, and that's what everything we've been working on all these years. For our deepening, this is the public commenting period for the environmental assessment.
Yeah, for the last, 8, 9 years?
Yeah, we've been working on it. Yes, that's correct.
Well, thank you, Mr. Director. And that concludes the Permits and Waterways report, Mr. President. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mr. Gisclair. Now we're going to Construction and Development Committee. Members are Chris Colley, Chairman, Mike Colley, Jimmy LaFont, Chucky Sherman. Mr. Colley.
Good morning and thank you, Mr. President. First, we'll consider approving the lowest responsive bid for Northern Expansion Slip D bulkhead.
All right, as mentioned, Dynamic Group LLC was the lowest responsive bid for $16,510,001.52. Recommendation to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Chris Colley, second by Mike Colley. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Next, consider adopting the DOTD resolution clarifying compliance with the public bid law for the Northern Expansion Slip D bulkhead project.
All right, this project is a port priority application project award. Recommendation to approve.
All right, need a motion.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Chris Colley, second by Mr. Larry Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Next, we'll consider approving the lowest responsive bid for the breakwaters repair.
All right, the breakwaters repair project, lowest responsive bid was Rigid Constructors LLC for a total base and alternate bid of $7,786,469. Recommendation to approve.
Need a motion?
Move.
Mr. Chris Colley, second by Mr. Reggie Ledet. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. President, this concludes the Construction Development Committee report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Colley. Next, we're going to Finance Committee. Members are John Mellison Jr., Chairman, Larry Griffin, Chris Colley, and Chucky Sherman. Mr. Mellison, you're up.
All right, good morning and thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Griffin, you ready to go?
Yeah.
Let's start. We'll consider approving the payment of the 2024 invoices and recognizing those over $25,000. We'll begin with line item 1, sea-level construction, $940,922.08, and that's for the Airport Connector Road and Bridge Project. Item 2, USI Southwest, $377,460 even, and that's for port property insurance renewal. Item 3, GIS Engineering, $243,252, and 56 cents. That's for Port Fourchon Marsh Creation Project, the Port Fourchon Island Feed Study and Fourchon Bridge, Belpass Channel Deepening, Hurricane Ida Site 11 damages, along with general engineering. Item 4, Angelette Design LLC, $165,204.36. That's for Port Fourchon Beach Maintenance and Restoration, along with Bayou Lafourche and Flotation Canal Bulkhead and the Belpass Platform. Item 5, Deere and Company, $97,580.56. That is for a John Deere 6110M cab tractor. Item 6, Coastal Dredging Company Incorporated, $96,298.41. That's dredging of the Flotation Canal and Front Commercial Marina. Item 7, Covington Sales and Service Incorporated, $85,484.16. And that's for the mid-mount rotary boom mower with accessory. Item 8, E&L Enterprise Incorporated, $44,256.87. That's repairs or replace damaged pile custom clusters near the Golden Meadow locks. Item 9, PCO and Associates, $38,926.60. That's for the airport, road, and bridge, Flotation Canal mooring dolphins, Slip D site development for excavator work, and Slip C permit. Item 10, Grand Isle Shipyard, $36,737.71. That's for contract labor at the airport, along with limestone for public boat launch and marina and roadways. Item 11, Ascent Aviation Group, $27,736.93. That's fuel for resale and truck rental at the airport. Last, we have Freedom Builders LLC, $26,350 even. That's for the exterior painting of the EOC. And these items, along with the rest, bring us to a total of $3,310,744.17. And Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion, we accept these with a second from Mr. Griffin if I didn't make any mistakes.
All right.
You did good. You did good.
He did it right,
Getting
Mr.
better
Chief.
every month.
All right.
Yeah, we got a motion from Mr. Mellison, second from Mr. Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Next, as discussed at Monday night's committee meeting, I'd like to consider approving the May.
All right.
Hang on, I got caught here. Give me a second.
Number 2.
Consider approving the May 2024 preliminary unaudited financial statements. I'd like to make a motion to accept these.
All right. I got a motion by Mr. George Mellison, second by Mr. Thomas Petrie. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. President, I'd like to apologize about my stumble, but we getting into our audit report. And next we have consider approving the 2023 audited financial statement from Laporte presented by Mr. John Murray.
Thank you. So we performed the audit for the year ended December 31st, 2023. And I kept some slides. I'll go through some highlights. If you have any questions, just let me know. The first thing I want to go over is our audit results, is our audit report, which we performed the audit in accordance with.
Mr. Murray, if you could pull the microphone a little lower to you.
Okay. So we performed the audit in accordance with generally accepted accounting auditing standards. And so the result of that was we gave an unmodified or a clean opinion on the financial statements. There was one GASB statement that was effective this year, which did not have any effect on the financial statements. In reviewing our adoption of GASB 87 related to leases, we identified that there were leases that needed to be recorded. So we did record a prior period adjustment of $8.1 million for that. In addition to the audit of the financial statements, we also perform an audit in accordance with different auditing standards. And for that, we obtain and understand y'all's internal control. We do walkthroughs of y'all's controls and do testing. And then we also test y'all's compliance with state laws. And To kind of summarize on that, we did not identify any compliance findings or any weaknesses in internal control for this year. Also, since y'all's federal awards exceed $750,000, we also perform an audit of y'all's compliance with requirements of major federal programs. And for that, we also found that y'all complied with those requirements and gave a clean audit opinion on the compliance. We also did not identify any findings or material weaknesses related to that. Just kind of go through a few highlights of the financials. The cash and investments at the end of the year was $85.6 million. That was about a 30.9% decrease, but that was due to that purchase of land that y'all did last year of $39.2 million. The capital assets totaled $297.4 million. The leases receivable was $586.7 million. And your net position at the end of the year was $463 million, which was a 6.3% increase from the previous year. Kind of go over some of the income statement highlights. Operating revenues totaled $43.9 million, which was an increase of 1.8%. Operating expenses was $28.6 million, which was an increase of about 10.7%. That gave you a net operating income of a positive $15.3 million, which decreased about 11.5% from the previous year. You had net income before capital grants, all totaled $23 million, which was an increase of about 25%. And your capital grants for the year was about $11.8 million, which was a decrease of about 47.4%. Your net non-operating revenues was $7.7 million, which was a pretty large increase of 613%. And that was really related to y'all's investment income making a lot because interest rates are higher, and also some gains related to the purchase of the land regarding the leases on that land. So your bottom line number was a net change in net position of positive of $27.4 million, which was a decrease of 19.2% from the previous year. We have a couple of slides that show your revenues by source. And of course, your lease revenue, which is kind of made up of two components, interest and lease revenue is your biggest component there. We also have a slide of your expenses, which shows the breakdown of that as well. We do have one accounting standard that will be adopted next year related to y'all's compensated absences or y'all's accrued vacation. And finally, in addition to the audit, we also perform a statewide agreed-upon procedures. These are prescribed by the legislative auditor, and they cover 14 different control and best practice categories. And so we went through in our testing of that, we did not identify any exceptions related to those statewide procedures. Any questions?
Anyone has any questions for Mr. Murray? If not,
And I want to explain also, Monday night, he went through more of this. This was just a shorter presentation for the meeting, but Monday night, he went to our committee meeting. He presented more information than we have in here to the audience.
And also just like to take a minute to thank Miranda and her team for all their
Right.
through the audit.
this is about a 2-month process, 3-month process when y'all do the audit. So it's very demanding on our staff, and we thank y'all for getting us through that.
Yeah.
So, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion, we accept
All
the
right, I have a
audit.
motion from Mr. John Meliso. I got a second from Mr. Mike Colley. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. President, this concludes the Finance Committee report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Meliso. Any other business?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to reflect back on the agenda with the port helping out at the fire station, that early in the session, the commission had went with Devin and one of his people from the fire district. We went visit Mike Fazy and Joe Ogeron, and Joe secured, with the help of the port, Joe secured an additional $400,000 to get them to where they're going. And I'd like to thank Representative Joe Ogeron for helping the fire district and the port, along with the ambulance district, in getting this done to bring us better protection. That would be it, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Meliso. Appreciate that. And for the port, you represented the port going up there, so I just wanted to put that out there. Okay. Next, any other business? Any public comment?
Again, I think, well, I just wanted to say that, we're always a part of the rodeos that are going on in Fouchon. We have the Fouchon Almonds, but really wanted to highlight the Golden Medal Fouchon Tarpon Rodeo on July 4th weekend. Please go out and support that rodeo for our community. It might be a little personal for me since my brother's the admiral this year, but I think it's a really good event. And all of the rodeos that take place in Port Fouchon have something to do with giving back to the community. I think that's the important point of all of this. It's big networking events and all of these things, but it's all about giving scholarships back to local students as well as grants to local nonprofit organizations. Thank you.
All right. Any other public comment? All right. One thing I'd like to say was, look, for the people out there, when you're going to the beach and the water with your kids, and they put life jackets on. We've had, Grand Isle has had one drowning, one almost drowned. It's very important for people out there to go ahead and put life jackets on your kids and watch your kids. And I also want to thank, I've got told by some policemen from Grand Isle to thank Mr. Kilner and his Office of Harbor Patrol for helping out in the search in Grand Isle on the beach. But it's very important that people, please put life jackets on your kids and keep an eye on them in that water all the time. The way the current's going, and we haven't had any, but also watch for sharks. From what I'm hearing in Florida, it's pretty bad. I don't know about around here, but please keep an eye on your kids.
Be safe.
Mr. Petrie. I got a motion by Mr. Reggie Pete. Second, Reggie. Reggie Ledet. And Mr. Thomas Petrie, second. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Meeting's adjourned.